After years of discussion about what to do to help the homeless population in Bergen County, a new facility has been built. Up next on Inside Bergen, the opening of the Bergen County Housing, Health, and Human Services Center. Welcome to Inside Bergen. I'm your host, Bergen County Executive Dennis McNerney. October 1st, 2009, Bergen County opened the doors to a new facility. One that not only provides shelter to those who are homeless, but gives them hope that they can change their lives permanently. This new facility is called the Bergen Housing, Health, and Human Services Center. And joining me today on Inside Bergen is Freeholder Vice Chairwoman Elizabeth Calabrese. Welcome, Freeholder.
Thank you, County Executive. I appreciate the invitation to co-host today on a topic that's very important and very close to my heart.
Great. And our first guest is the Director of the Center for Housing, Health, and Human Services, Julia Orlando. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here today with you.
All right. The 3H Center, as we're now calling it, on River Street, is really something much more than a traditional center. Is that correct?
That's correct. What's wonderful about this facility is that it's operating as a one-stop. So individuals can come in who need shelter. They can come in and get something to eat. They can get clean clothes, a shower, use the phone, meet with the case manager, and most importantly, access services, especially to get housing and get out of homelessness.
Julia, you don't call the people that come to the center, you refer to them as clients or guests. Yes. Rather than clients. Why is that?
It's very important that we think of them as guests and that we treat them as guests, because this indicates that we have an approach that's of hospitality and of welcoming. I think what's very difficult for persons who are homeless is there are many places that they're not feeling welcomed. And the first step in helping people is that they feel welcomed. So by calling them guests, we give them a sense of hospitality and welcome and belonging when they come in. The second part of that that's important is that this is not permanent housing. They're not residents. And so when we call them guests, there's also a notion that it's only for a temporary period of time until we find them housing.
I understand we have some video that maybe you could help us through. And
sure.
What is really the overall message that's being given to these centers' guests?
I think the overall message is really one of hope, and that we can help people find their way out of homelessness and lead them to housing. That's the most important thing. And we also recognize that that's not easy. And what we tell people is that we know it's going to be difficult at times and you're going to need assistance, but that if you come to the center, all of those pieces can come together, and there's going to be someone there to help them every step of the way.
That's great. You know, people should know that the Bergen County doesn't run this facility on its own. I understand that there are several nonprofit organizations that help along the way.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes, absolutely. We have wonderful partners. We have Christchurch Community Development Corporation. They are actually managing the shelter and the Next Step program, which is pretty much a drop-in center where people can come every day. We also have Care Plus of New Jersey, and they are providing case management. They're helping people from shelter into housing and making sure that not only that they obtain the housing, but that they're secure in the housing. Friendship House is another partner. They provide our breakfast and our lunch, and they also provide our maintenance in the building. In addition to that is the Housing Authority. And the Housing Authority, of which I'm an employee of the Housing Authority, we manage the facility, all of the grounds of the facility, and also the actual program. And the Housing Authority is also responsible for the important vouchers that we're getting that are allowing us to get people into housing.
Now, since this shelter is open, you've really witnessed a lot of miracles. How many of those vouchers have been awarded into permanent housing?
I am so pleased to say that by the end of this week, we will have housed 40 individuals
in just a couple months.
In just a couple months.
That's just an amazing accomplishment. Do you believe that when people see other guests receiving these vouchers, that it gives them hope?
Oh, absolutely. We hear from many people that they have been waiting a very long time and that they were beginning to give up hope, or they didn't think that they would be able to get into housing for various reasons. We have a community meeting every 2 weeks, and what's really wonderful is the first thing we do every meeting is we have someone hold up who has keys. Wow. And when people see that and they see that this can happen for them, especially that they've known them for a while and they see the looks on their faces, it's just wonderful. And it's also wonderful is that they come back. So even though they go into the housing, they'll come back, they'll visit, they'll tell other people, and that good feeling, persists from one person to the next.
And I know the Freeholder Board and Chairman Jim Carroll are big supporters of this, and but we're actually using state and federal grants that are helping the operating cost.
Yes, I have to say that we're so grateful because due to the Department of Human Services at the county and community development has just allowed us to do all these wonderful things through the generosity of these grants. It is miraculous that all these have come together in addition with the vouchers from the Housing Authority. So between the grants and the vouchers and the expertise of the staff, it's a wonderful, wonderful experience for people.
Julia, people in Bergen County seem to feel that this is not a county issue, homelessness, or that there are no poor in Bergen County. I, for one, know for a fact, and I'm sure you do too, that homelessness affects families as well as individuals.
Absolutely. I was actually just reading yesterday that we've now seen a 56% increase in family homelessness in suburban areas, which is absolutely what we're seeing. I'm getting many more calls about family homelessness. We're seeing more families actually eating in the shelter and also coming in for the stimulus funds, the assistance in eviction prevention. We're seeing many more people coming in. So it very much is an issue that we're battling, but I think very well given the resources that we have right now to deal with that.
Sounds like this is a great cooperative effort
Yes.
at a very opportune time.
Yes, I agree.
Can you tell us about the facility itself in terms of, you said meals? I know I've been there on a number of occasions. There are meals available
Yes.
for those who can walk in
Yes.
and for those who are staying there. Right?
Absolutely. We have 3 meals a day. The breakfast is for the guests that are staying in the facility, of which we have 90 now. Lunch is a bag lunch, which is great because people who are working can come in, get the lunch, take it with them. They don't have to stay in the facility. And then dinner, which is expertly provided by the Interreligious Fellowship, which are 300 churches and synagogues in our county, and they do this unbelievable meal every evening. And we're serving upwards of 125 to 150 people in the evening who are coming in, and it's open to anyone who needs those services.